Hi everyone, my name is Tania Ahmed and today I am sharing a video on how to create silhouette art with graphics cling vinyl. So what I've done is I have drawn out a silhouette and I'm going to be doing a graphite transfer. You can use transfer paper if you have some, but I'm just showing you that this is a different way to do a transfer if you don't have transfer paper. So what it basically means is I'm heavily applying some a graphite stick onto the back of my drawing, and you don't have to use a stick. You can just use a dark pencil of some kind. And then what you do is you just simply turn it over and you trace over. And what happens is that the graphite on the other side transfers. Now I am transferring the design onto the back of cling vinyl. Cling vinyl is a synthetic surface, but the backing is made of paper, which makes it easy for me to do a graphite transfer. And once I have finished tracing the outline, I am just refining some of the design so that it's clear for me to cut. So the cling vinyl is very easy to cut with a scissor, and you just need to be very careful for this technique to make sure that all the edges are smooth and that there are no sharp outlines. Because if it's sharp somewhere, then that's where some of the ink might seep underneath the vinyl. And I'm going to be using the vinyl as a resistant surface, and I'm going to be doing some alcohol ink. I'm using Grafix clear craft plastic, which is perfect for the cling vinyl to temporarily stick to long enough for me to do my alcohol ink art. Now I am just placing my vinyl, which is still on the backing, and making sure that it fits really well inside the 12 by 12 frame of the clear plastic. And to temporarily stick down the vinyl, what I'm doing is I'm just lifting it up from one edge and I'm folding the release paper back a little bit to reveal some of that stickiness from the cling vinyl. And then I'm going to stick that down and I'm going to very gently remove that backing paper. And what I'm doing is this is a way, this is my favorite way of transferring any sticky surfaces which are long and not very easy to handle. And I use a bone folder to help me burnish down that vinyl onto the clear craft plastic. And once it's on there, I just make sure that all the edges are really pressed down nicely against the clear craft plastic so that there are no seepages. Now I placed a white piece of cardstock underneath so that it would help for the design to turn out better on camera. So instead I took it away and decided to keep the backing paper underneath so that you guys can see where the design is. So I'm also using that as a guideline for myself as well, because once I start putting down my alcohol inks, the outline might get a little bit more difficult to see on camera. So what I'm doing is, again, I am making sure that all the edges are burnished down well off the vinyl, and I am using one of these air brushing tools, which is like a puffer which puffs out air, and I'm using that to help me get that kind of sprayed kind of effect with the alcohol inks. I'm using Ranger alcohol pearls, and they have a pearlescent finish with mica in them, and when they dry they're slightly opaque as well, which sort of helps them to be more visible on a darker background as well. If I did this on clear, then with normal alcohol inks, which are translucent, then a white backing would look better. And instead, I knew I wanted the silhouette to be black, which is going to be my backing paper underneath after I'm done. So I'm using the mica alcohol pearls. And I'm continuing to apply the alcohol inks, making sure to give them a good shake before I drip them onto the outline and spray them so that the mica is evenly distributed against the background, in the mixture, sorry. And I am just making sure that all of it is completely dry before I move on to the next step. Now this is alcohol ink, which dries really, really fast. And it's really great for if you're impatient and you want to get on to the next step as soon as possible. So depending on how much ink you splatter on, it will dry fairly fast. And I wanted to add some white splatters. And what I'm doing is I'm using a white Posca marker, and I am charging it a little bit on a scrap piece of paper and then just lightly tapping it against my other hand so that it creates these splatters to give like a rainbow galaxy background. And at this point it does look a bit messy, but you will see when I reveal the design when I take the vinyl off. Now, cling vinyl will stick to any smooth and shiny surfaces like glass. You could do some interesting resist effects with glass as well. And vinyl will peel back without leaving any residue, which is the best part. It's just best to not overhandle the sticky side so that you get good adhesion with your surface. And here is a finished look at the silhouette. I hope that you like this video. If you have any questions, please do leave them in the comments on YouTube. And for more information, please visit the Grafix website. Thank you. Bye.